Ryan, where are you going?
Judy, I'm going to hit the trail.
We'll tell you how you can hit the trail next on Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time. We're out here at Secret Garden Growers, which is just one of the stops on the Cascade Nursery Trail.
This weekend is their Midsummer Madness Tour, and we'll be visiting with another of the stops later in the show.
Also coming up on the show today, we'll be talking about deer-resistant plants.
But coming up first, the Lavender Festival. The fragrance of lavender is in the air at the Willamette Valley Lavender Festival, and I'm at the Chehalem Cultural Center with Marilyn. And Marilyn, so really, I don't think about lavender being such a big industry here in the area, and really it is.
Yes, it really is. The Pacific Northwest is really the premier growing area for lavender in the United States, and there's quite a few farms around here that produce everything from essential oils to products to dried buds and fresh flowers for all kinds of markets, and it goes all over from the Northwest.
And it's so interesting to get everybody together. And really, this is the 16th anniversary, so a little bit of the history all way back then. What happened?
Yes, well, the Lavender Festival began in 2005. It was just a small group of farms and about 6 vendors. And we put together a little festival out in the town of Yamhill, and it was in Yamhill for several years, about 10 years, and then we moved it here to the Cultural Center, and it's been here ever since.
And another large part of the festival, it's not just about the lavender plants and all of that, it's about artists, and the artists are a huge part of it.
Yes, they are a huge part of it. We have 150 artists participating this year, and they've been out in the lavender fields painting for the last couple of weeks. All the work has to be painted during that time frame, and then they bring the work here and display it during the festival. It's judged, and all the work is for sale, and it's a wonderful place to come and see all the different ways that artists interpret lavender.
It really is a great place to showcase their art, and so we have an artist right behind us that's working. Yes. So tell us a little bit about her.
Oh, this is Shannon Ray, and she actually lives in Willamette, so she's a Yamhill County artist, and she's depicting lavender in front of the Cultural Center here. All the artists, there's a list of different locations they have to paint at. They have to choose from those locations, but they have about 2 weeks to go out ahead of time, ahead of the festival, and paint in the fields or in the different locations, and then they show their work here at the festival.
It's such an interesting snapshot, it's just that short time frame. So it's really going to be interesting to look at all the artwork that's produced. Yes. And there's also other things to see when we're here.
Yes, there are. There's other art and craft vendors. There's everything lavender you can imagine, and probably some things you haven't. We'll have fresh cut lavender and plants and all kinds of lavender products, and some very unusual ones, and lavender refreshments as well.
Ooh.
And there's other art being shown in the Cultural Center at the same time too.
And maybe some music to listen to while we're strolling around?
Yes, there will be live music both days. And that's always popular with everybody. And food too, if you choose to come and stay here, have lunch, spend some time, there's also food available.
And really for families and for friends, it's not any kind of age limit, is there?
No, not at all. There's something for everybody to see and do here at the festival.
Oh. It's going to be a great weekend here, and so grab the kids, grab your friends and come out. You can even go touring some of the lavender fields that are close by. So please go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over and you can get all the information about coming out here and enjoying yourself. Marilyn, have a great festival. This is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. Hope to see you this weekend. Thanks.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
Judy, what are you doing?
You said to follow you.
Follow us on Facebook.
Oh, man. Well, we invite all of our viewers to follow the Garden Time page on Facebook.
And on our Facebook page, you'll find links to stories, you'll see upcoming events, and you also might even find a funny joke or two.
So don't forget, go to the gardentime.tv webpage and click the link for Facebook.
At Sagawa Nursery, we always talk about taking your garden from ordinary to extraordinary. For us, that means bringing you the newest and best plants and unique garden items to you, our customer. For you, that means we'll help you transform your garden into something that's extraordinary. We also have some great gift items and even a few surprises for inside your home too. Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
Well, we're out at one of the stops on the Cascade Nursery Trail, Midsummer Madness. I'm with Pat. We're out here at Secret Garden Growers. And Pat, you have this great selection of really unusual, fun things. You know, it's summertime, and there's still so much we can do in our garden and so much fun plants. So
Absolutely.
So let's just dive right into it. You got a great selection here, so let's just start at one end and see what we have.
It's been a little toasty, so these are plants that beat the heat. We're going to start out with something really special called Amorphophallus konjac. This is a very tropical looking plant with beautiful mottled stems. It gets about 4 foot tall with these unusual exotic looking leaves. It has a 6 foot flower stem with a spade that smells like carrion, but not for too long. A good thing to put on the property line of your neighbor's house if you don't particularly like your neighbor. It's hardy, but it's easy to overwinter in a pot in the garage. This is a Butilon or Chilean bellflower. This is the hardiest of the Butilon group. It gets fairly large. I think its best use is probably in a big pot because it has an arching form and it'll cascade. It blooms all summer and fall. The hummers love it. Morning sun is ideal. Good plant, very underused. Aspidistra, cast iron plant, I learned about way back in my houseplant days, will live in dry, deep shade outside or indoors. This is Aspidistra minutifolia spangled ribbons. Gets about 2 feet tall, deer resistant, easy to grow, good shade plant.
And it's got some other goodies here. Let's just keep going now.
Yes, we do. New Agapantha, two-tone called Twister. Agapantha is also a very good cut flower I found out recently. Hot baking sun, not fussy as to soil. It is winter dormant, so it goes deciduous in the winter, which makes it that much more hardy. But something to have in the full sun garden, as is this Kufia vermillionaire, which is another Hummer crack favorite. Full sun, hottest spots you've got. They bloom all summer and all fall right up until frost. And if it's got good drainage, it is zone 8, it will live over. And so supposedly Portland is zone 9 now, so that makes it even better. Another good shade plant is Virginia ciliata Susan Riley, one of my favorite pig squeaks. It has this beautiful fuzzy, very roughly leafed clumping habit, and the flowers are rose pink. They come up in March before the foliage comes up. This is a deciduous Virginia, but it looks great all season.
And it looks like then a couple of the oxalis here.
Oxalis, which usually we consider weeds. This is Regnellii francis, which is the purple. It's got a nice little pink flower. We can find it in there somewhere. There it is. And this is Iron Cross. Neither of these are weeds. They're nice tight clumps. They like morning sun. They're easy to grow. They grow in pots, and we should use more of those as well.
You have such a huge selection. And then what's this pretty variegated one?
This is a variegated horseradish, which makes a beautiful, very tropical looking 3 foot clump of big variegated leaves. They're about 8 times the size. Easy to grow in the worst soil, wet or dry, center shade. And also you can use the root to make your favorite Bloody Marys.
Oh, really?
And of course I've got to mention this jasmine, Jasmine officinalis Fiona Sunrise. It's got these golden leaves. It's evergreen. It gets fragrant axillary flowers in the summer. We've been growing it for 20 years and I still highly recommend it. It's not a huge vine. It only grows to about 6 to 8 feet, but it's one of our favorites.
And then this guy,
This is a fairly new introduction from Terra Nova. It's called Sedum Dark Magic. Full sun, no care, has a nice rose bloom in the fall. I really like this plant if you don't have a lot of time to garden.
you know, so these are some great plants that survive the heat. Now I think we're going to head over to Judy, and she's at another stop on the Cascade Nursery Trail, so we'll go see her over there.
Thanks, Ryan. Now I'm at another tour stop on the Midsummer Madness Tour. I'm with Patti at Garden Time in Silverton. So Patti, you have quite a collection here for us. So exciting.
I do. We have tried and true plants. They tend to winter well. They like the same conditions. They're hardy and they're just workhorses in the gardens.
So nice. So let's start with this pretty yellow one.
So this yellow one is a threadleaf Caryopteris. It's got a really nice ferny, lacy type of foliage to it, and the bloom is a buttery yellow, but it also comes in other colors. So if yellow doesn't suit your garden or your taste, you do have other options. So this coming year we'll have the shades of rose as well as some red varieties as well.
Something for everybody.
Yeah.
And then you have really two pretty echinaceas, really nice summer flowers.
These are both in the Powell series, and they tend to be a little more compact and a lot more floriferous than a lot of the other echinaceas are. They're really sturdy, they winter well, and we've just had great luck with them.
And then what is this one down here with the purple flowers? Those
So
are beautiful.
that one is Nepeta. This particular variety is Walker's Low. It's something that blooms from late spring all the way till midsummer. I give it a haircut, it blooms again until fall. So it has the look of a lavender in your garden, but the bloom time is almost double. And it's just a great plant. Deer resistant, drought tolerant.
And what's the variety in that one?
This one is Walker's Low. It tends to be about a 24 inch plant, but they do have shorter varieties as well.
Nice, nice. And then what about this tall one?
This one is Asclepias ice ballet, also known as milkweed,
Okay.
and it's a great plant for the monarch butterflies. It's going to have a very large, pure white, lacy type of flower, and it has a vanilla fragrance to it.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of seeing a kind of a grouping here that maybe I can plant this all together and kind of be done with that area.
You can. So what I like to look for is not only bloom time, but textures as well. So if I were to start a garden area, I know that this Caryopteris, my threadleaf Caryopteris, is going to be about a 14-16 inch. I would probably choose a texture that has a little more bold foliage to it, a little larger foliage. So my next would be my echinaceas. And then I want to break that up with something loose and flowing again. So I would choose something like my Nepeta here. And then because this is going to be the tallest, the back of my garden, this would be a lovely choice. It's going to be about 4 feet.
So this is a nice choice here for that perennial garden in the sun in your garden. So please come out to the Midsummer Madness Tour on the Cascade Nursery Trail. Visit Patti out here at Garden Time Nursery or any of the other nurseries, and go to gardentime.tv, click over to that website for more information. Patti, thanks so much. Have a great tour.
Bye.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
At Portland Nursery, we believe that gardening is a creative endeavor that enriches our experience, enlivens the spaces around us, and provides a safe haven for the mind. Portland Nursery has everything you need to make your space feel unique, inviting, and exciting. From houseplants and hedges to trees, tools, veggies, and herbs, our selection is always growing and changing, just like you. Come visit us today at 50th and Stark, 90th and Division.
You can use water wisely this summer with these simple tips. Periodically, check your watering system to make sure it is working correctly. Tighten hose connections and adjust sprinklers to water plants and not the pavement. Give your lawn and garden a deep soak twice weekly instead of watering daily. Skip the fertilizer until the fall and mow your lawn less often. Taller grass holds moisture in longer between waterings. Get more water-wise gardening tips at regionalh2o.org.
Nestled in the oaks of the Willamette Valley is a nursery that is truly exceptional. At Out in the Garden Nursery, you will find a vast array of shade plants, ornamental grasses, and hardy perennials. Let us help you bring color and texture into your garden. We offer over 100 types of perennials. Many of our plants are evergreen for year-round interest. Plus, we offer the best in personal attention. Out in the Garden Nursery, where we grow great gardens one plant at a time.
Well, I'm here with Lee. We're down at Garland Nursery. Lee, we got some beautiful plants down here, and there's a theme to these plants, isn't there?
There is a deer-resistant theme, yes.
Deer resistant, not deer-proof,
yes, exactly.
but deer-resistant. So we got some great colors in here. And, you know, what don't deer like about these plants? What are we
well,
looking
you know,
for?
in general, thorns, smells, things like that quite often deter deer.
Okay.
And so we have some of that here, and then we have some things that are, I think, poisonous to them as well.
Excellent.
So just, do you want me to run through a few of the plants?
Let's just go. This one always strikes my hand here. This
that
guy.
one's the Salvia. It's a new form of black and blue. So it's called black and bloom.
Bloom, okay.
Because it's a little more floriferous than the black and blue.
Excellent.
But it's a great, like, 3 to 4 foot high perennial that's going to bloom all summer long. The black buds turn into those rich blue blooms.
Yeah, you can just see that deep color.
It's really beautiful. It's reasonably hardy, but it can drown if you have heavy clay soil in the winter with the rains.
Okay.
In front of this, we'll go with the Kudos Mandarin Orange Agastache. So hyssop is the common name for it. It's going to get a couple feet high. This particular one will rebloom if you deadhead it.
Okay.
So they don't all do that. And this one, the Kudos series, there's another series as well that does that. But these are great as far as giving you all summer long color.
Right.
And both this and the black and bloom attract the hummingbirds like crazy.
And the foliage the plant itself has a lot of fragrance.
It does, and that I think is what deters the deer as well.
Right.
Yeah. Behind that, we've got the Caryopteris blue balloon, and that is a all summer long bloomer. It is a deciduous shrub, so you have the sticks in the winter.
Right.
But it does the leaves come on fairly early. It's also drought resistant, as actually are, I think, everything on this
so far,
table.
yeah.
So, but what I've found in my yard is this really attracts the bumblebees.
I've seen that.
So it just gets loaded with bumblebees.
So not only get the bees and deters the deer.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, and blooms for a long period of time.
And then this great guy up front here.
Yeah, this is sort of it's been around for a long time. It's the Sunset Rock Rose. And what I like about this is, again, it's a long bloomer. So some of the rock rose will bloom for 3 weeks. This one will bloom for 6 months probably.
Oh, wow.
Again, it needs a well-drained soil. It'll sort of sprawl out, so maybe 2 feet high, but if you let it, it'll get 5 feet wide.
And another good drought tolerant.
Oh yeah, very good drought tolerant. Let's jump to the back again.
Yeah, this guy here.
So that's Wilma Goldcrest cypress, and again, if you rub the foliage of it, you'll smell it, and the deer don't like that taste, even though it kind of tastes like, or it smells like citrus to me.
It's a very
apparently they don't like
lemon
that.
cypress, right?
But it's a great plant that holds its structure real well. It's drought resistant. It'll get like 15 feet high eventually by about 5 feet wide.
Okay.
But great sort of focal point in your yard.
Right. I've seen people use these in containers too.
Oh, they're
you can keep them kind of
fantastic.
sheared. It's just that. Nice.
All of mine in my yard started in
It's good
containers.
to-
They outgrew the container and into
That's
the yard.
good. Recycle it.
Barberry Admiration. So this is a great one. It's a little bit more of an orange barberry with that little golden edge around it. Fantastic 2 by 3, 2 feet by 3 feet, drought resistant, deer resistant because it has thorns. So if you don't like thorns, this might not be the one for you, but that's what makes the deer not eat it.
Right. And it's a nicer red than some of those real deep.
Oh yeah,
it's a real bright fire engine red.
And then I've got this one is Platinum Blonde Lavender. Has the fantastic lavender blooms, but it's a variegated foliage on it, and it's going to get probably 2 to 2.5 feet high.
Okay.
Again, drought resistant, deer resistant. Great plant. Likes good drainage. And the last one is Daphne Eternal Fragrance. This is one of my favorite plants. It blooms all summer long. Has nice sweet fragrance, especially in the evening. Nice rich green foliage, 3 feet by about 5 feet. And
used to the Daphne's blooming in that real early springtime, but to get the Daphne fragrance when you're actually outside and being able to enjoy it.
Yeah, all the way into fall even.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's it's a great time to get out into the garden center and to come down to find so much color right now for in your garden, and you'll put things in there that you'll attract the insects, or they'll deter the deer. So Lee, it's always great to be with you. It's a pleasure to be down here, so thank you.
Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Welcome to the brand new Capital Subaru.
We've taken a big step forward.
We've built one of the most unique Subaru dealerships in the U.S.
And we know you're going to love it.
There's so much to see and do here, like shop at our exclusive pet store.
And unwind in one of our amazing new lounge spaces.
Or race through the obstacle course at our new dog park.
This place is pretty stinking cool.
It's time to discover again, with over 72,000 square feet just for you.
Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Is your garden getting tired? Don't let your garden fizzle out because of the summer heat. Stop by Wavra Farms for a refresher in summer color. We carry a great selection of plants that love the summer. Give your garden the splash of color that it deserves. Your outdoor entertaining will be more enjoyable when you are surrounded by beautiful plants, wonderful flowers, and great fragrance. Let us show you what a summer garden should be. Wavra Farms, just east of Salem, off Highway 22 at the Joseph Street exit.
A destination farm and garden market featuring the very best each season has to offer. Smith Berry Barn offers seasonal farm fresh fruits and vegetables and specialty herbs and perennials. Visit the historic barn for distinctive gifts, gourmet foods, and homemade milkshakes. Right now we have fresh picked or pick your own berries ready in our fields. Here's what we have to offer this week. Centrally located off of Shoals Ferry Road between Sherwood and Hillsborough, Smith Berry Barn, growing good taste from the ground up.
Well, I'm at the vegetable patch at Blooming Junction today with the farm manager, Justin. And so, Justin, we've talked about so many different vegetables, and here we are in mid-July talking about fall vegetables. So what's with that?
That's right. I always want to tell people, you know, if you wait till September or October to start your fall garden, it's way too late. So yeah, we're here in July, which is typically the best time to start planting for your fall garden. Lots of things that we can be planting now. Root crops are a lot of things that people plant for fall and winter, but there are also a lot of leafy greens, and the cole crop is a good one this time of year too, the cole crops.
And so you were saying even like cauliflower you like to plant in the fall, that it's more tasty and a little bit easier to do?
I do, and it grows better for me in the fall. So yeah, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, a lot of those kind of crops I prefer to do in the fall. And you know, when we get that first frost or a little cool weather in the fall, it changes the composition of the plant and really enhances some of the sugars and flavors in a lot of those crops, leafy crops as well as root crops.
Oh, that is nice. And then I always heard that like the beets are really good to do after a frost to harvest.
They are, yeah. Beets, carrots, parsnips, all of those will have much more flavor, be much more sort of sugary and tasty, yeah, after they get touched by a frost.
And so what kind of varieties should we be planting? So if I have a package that I've planted in the spring, should I use that same package of seeds?
Not always. That's not always the case. You know, there are a lot of varieties that, there's been a lot of research into these varieties where they've created them so that they can withstand, you know, the early heat of August when they're small, you know, tender plants, but then also are very cold hardy once we get later into the season. So there are a lot of varieties specifically developed for fall and winter production.
And then what about the care? Because we are going to be going to the heat. So what should we be prepping our soil for?
Yeah, well, so in our soil prep, well, first thing, during this heat, we want to make sure that we're watering every day to get good germination. And for things like fine-seeded carrots, you know, it can be good to add a thin layer of mulch or peat moss or something to help, you know, keep in that moisture. Some things may even require watering twice a day during that heat.
Sure.
So, you know, we'll want to be making sure that they get plenty of water. And even if you have a small garden at home, be providing some shade for those while they germinate on really, really hot sunny days. Anything you can do to add a little bit of shade to those plants. And we also in our soil preparation want to be thinking about creating good drainage, because we get so much rain in the fall and in the winter. We really want our soil to be draining well. So adding lots of compost, raised beds are always the best way to go for fall and winter planting.
Oh, that is true. And so we can get starts here or seeds?
That's right. Yeah, we have all of the sort of main transplants that you can put in. I love, you know, it's great to plant with your own seed. You know, I think that plants get a better start, but there are some things like those cold crops, the broccoli, cabbage, cauliflowers that really need a little more time. So those I
sure.
really recommend doing transplants with, and we have those for sale here at Blooming Junction.
And then we have to talk about pests. So should we be worried about them?
Well, you know, one of the great things about gardening in the fall and winter is that there's a lot less pest pressure in general, flying insects, but the one pest that we really need to watch out for are slugs. So usually in August and September, when they first start coming out, I like to apply a little Sluggo. We've talked about that before. It's my go-to product to prevent slug damage here. And also, you know, there can be some diseases caused with all the dampness and rain that we have in the fall. So I like to add a little bit more spacing between all of the plants to allow for a little more air circulation. That really helps quite a bit, yes.
That is a great tip. And then what about extension of the season? How long can we expect to be picking?
Yeah, so well, you always look at your last frost date for at least the warmer summer liking crops. And then for these cooler crops that I'm talking about, a lot of them can make it through the winter on their own. And yeah, I like to use a frost cloth. And you know, you can float it right over top of your plants, or you can use wire hoops to support it, but it really adds an extra level of protection. And it can also be good to use earlier in the season because when we were talking about pests, another one that we do get can be aphids, you know, on Brussels sprouts and some of those crops. And so row cover can be a good way to keep those insects out and extend the season further into the winter.
All great tips, but I'd like to go up to the store and see what's going on there, so let's go over.
Right.
So Justin, now we're up at the nursery and the store, and really you have everything for everyone up here.
We do, that's right. Yeah, for those who want to give a try at winter and fall gardening, we do have all the seeds and starts that you would need to do that.
Yeah, and then here, the bounty, man, so if you don't want to do a vegetable garden, you can come and get your vegetables.
That's right, yeah, we have 215 different fruits and vegetable varieties that we grow here, and they're all available for sale here in our produce stand. We also do a late season CSA, which is 8 weeks of a vegetable share that people can get more information about on our website.
Nice, and then also U-Pick, so the U-Pick information's on that website too?
It sure is, yeah, all of our berries that are open for U-Pick at this time.
And we've done segments about your cooking classes, and so those are lots of fun, and so all that information is on there too.
That's right.
You know, you have to come out to Blooming Junction. It's a great place to come, not just for plants, but for all your vegetable needs. And if you're going to start that vegetable garden this summer, you have to do it right now and get it in so you can harvest all fall. Thanks for all that information. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Garden Time today, and don't forget to come to Garden Time Nursery for the Cascade Nursery Trail Midsummer Madness Tour.
You know, for more information on the trail or to download a copy of your map, go to gardentime.tv and we'll click you over to the link. So for more information on today's episode or any of our other episodes, go to gardentime.tv. Judy and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Garden Time.
The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.